Hello, my name is Len, and I am going to present to you my portfolio in video form. Um, I've never actually done this before, so this is very new for me. I'm new to editing and all that stuff. But I'm going to start with the first illustration that will hopefully be up on screen right now. This is like a local market that was inspired by like Japanese markets and nighttime illustrations. I actually have two references that I mainly used that I'm gonna put up on screen right now. Is one with the storefront and also one for the other side of the store. Actually, I took a little bit of liberty here because the references don't really follow my drawing. I changed the perspective and such, and I also changed the vibe of it. If you look closely, the scene is actually quite gruesome because I don't know why. I was very inspired to make a green outside with a red bloody like inside of the store. And for more of the details, I chose this reference of a store. Those are mostly stores, honestly, for the products and for the aisle, and also this one for the garbage bag. I really like this one, and it really fit the vibe I was going with. The second illustration, my original character's room. This one was very straightforward for me because I already had a very clear mind of this space, and I only chose references for the specific objects, like, for example, the lamp and the books, and also the window. Here is also the original concept where this came from. It is very old. I think I made it like 2 or 3 years ago, and I finally put it into place when I finally had the skills to do a proper perspective. So yeah, this is the original. This is where the drawing came from, basically. The third illustration, I have no idea what I was doing really. It was not straightforward at all. I ended up changing the canvas size, like, right in the concept. I did not know where I was going with it. I had an original reference that, as you can see, is pretty, like, structurally similar to that. I wanted to keep one of, like, those, like, hellish, dark fantasy style, architecture, but also with the angels, and also included my original character. I then had another reference that I used for the perspective pretty loosely because at this point in time I wasn't very familiar with perspective either, but I tried my best to emulate that sort of thing. And also for the background I had these references that are for the buildings, and also had a reference that I use very loosely, mostly for the rendering and the color palette. One thing of note here is the fact that I actually used two separate canvases for the drawing because I was so frustrated with the first one. I did not know what I was doing, and I had to search out more references and figure out more stuff about the composition. I just wanted the character to look nice, and this is why I spent so much time on him. I didn't care as much for the background as I cared for the character, but in the end, I'm glad that I spent all that time rendering the background too, because it ended up looking pretty nice, especially for one of my first illustrations that are this complicated. The next illustration is actually the one I'm most proud of out of all of them. I just like it so much. It's the fog, it's the green. I have a soft spot for green. The original idea was when I saw this illustration, I was like, oh my god, I have to do something like that. Obviously, it ended up being way different than the original idea, but yeah. I then saw this pose on Pinterest and I really liked it. I followed it, but not entirely. I wanted more of the outfit to show because it was a character I designed myself, so obviously I wanted to show. And then I used this reference for the flame, and then I used this one for the overall flowy vibe, and also this one for the skin. It ended up being like quite loose, all of them. I did a lot of color correcting, and also this one is actually another one that inspired the whole idea. A green graveyard with a red background is the main concept for my illustration. This one also I used for the rendering of the graves, and these are a few that I used for rendering the outfit and the boots. One of them is actually AI, I'm pretty sure, but I like the texture of it, and yeah. This next one is actually a commission that I made for someone. They gave me quite a few solid references for what they wanted with their character, like 4 wings coming out of their head, and I had to figure out how to do that. They also gave me references for the clothing. They wanted something like an armor, a Valkyrie, I think it's called. And also for the weapons, they gave me solid preferences, so I didn't have to make that myself. Also for the background, they gave me pretty solid references that I ended up loosely using and mostly combining. Like I kept the purpley starry sky and also the building tops, and also added the moon in the back to enhance this celestial, this grandness of the character themselves. The last digital illustration that I'm gonna present to you today is this one. The idea behind this one was I wanted to make a very whimsical forest, something with like a lot of green and a lot of plants. I wanted to highlight pyramid structure composition, but also try to combine it with a bit like an S shape, so that your eyes kind of drift all across the canvas and are able to take in all of the details that I put in without it being too overwhelming. I got inspired to make this one when I saw this assemble of illustrations on Pinterest, and I thought, oh my god, I have to make something like that. That's usually how it goes for me. As you can see, I was pretty inspired by the waterfall and mushroom theme. Also, the colors were more similar to this color palette before I edited them to make the composition more of my own, because I don't want to make it too similar to any of the references that I use. This one I also used for the leaves and the greenery, this one as well. This one I used for the forest vibe mostly. Also, these are 2 of the sketches that I used to figure out the composition. The left one is similar to what I ended up going for, but the right one has more detail. And now on to the character designs. I'm actually gonna switch here to filming because I have a lot of traditional work to show, and editing it just doesn't make as much sense for me. All 3 of my characters have an art current theme. Lester is Art Nouveau, Mantas is Brutalism, and Astra is Art Deco. Also, I have another one that is supposed to be Bauhaus, but I didn't have time to complete it for this portfolio, unfortunately. I actually did a lot of research for this character. This was like one of the initial ideas, and then I wanted to make it more Art Nouveau inspired. I came up with this drawing, which had a lot more green and nature aspects to it, which is like closer to the themes of Art Nouveau. Also, some more artworks here that are of this character. Not very solid design here. I was still exploring, focusing on what should I add to them. And in the end, I wanted to go even further than the finished illustration that I made. And these are like after I finished the portfolio. But I wanted to go even further with the mystical, magical design, because Art Nouveau is such like a grand, full of detail art current that I thought I should go even further with it. And I came up with this, and I'm still not sure if it's like finished, because none of my designs are ever finished. I always change them eventually. Now, onto some of the inspirations. This is one of the pictures that I got inspired by. I'm not sure what this building is, unfortunately, I'm sorry. And also this element here that I actually ended up putting on their head. Now, Mentos is another one of our current characters. He's inspired by brutalism, and I have some more versions of him that I made. This is one of the first illustrations I came up with. And also some other sketches. For the pants design, I was really inspired by the predecessor of brutalism, actually, who made this staircase. And also for the outfit itself, I was very inspired by the pipes of the Pompidou Center in France. I don't know how that's spelled, I'm sorry. But yeah, actually, I put them on his chest. Here you can see the obvious inspiration. And also I wanted to go with like a moon theme, kind of, mostly for the silhouette, but also wanted to have it match because Lester is a star, so I wanted this to be the moon. Lester is another character that I made. She's inspired by Art Deco, and if you look closely, this is actually an element from the Chrysler building that I put on her dress and made it upside down, so it gives a bit of like a mermaid shape. My original concept was actually that of a mermaid. And I also have this drawing of her that I made before really figuring out her design. This is another sketch I made of her. It's kind of straying away from the Art Deco, but I tried to keep like cabaret elements in it, because that's another thing that really inspired me to make her. One of the artists that inspired me to make this is Lion Decker, and his very specific art style. I really liked it. Specifically, this painting of his inspired the little shawl that she has. I really liked it, and his style is so unique, and I thought it really fit my original character. Some other parts of the portfolio are actually studies. These are all singular reference studies. I'm showing them here because I actually put them on my wall. And also this is in the Villa Cross passage, which is in Bucharest, and it's one of the few Art Nouveau architecture examples that we have in Bucharest. You can't really see it here because I was sitting down at a table, but yeah, I wanted to emphasize more of the Christmas elements, like the teddy bear and the lights, because it was Christmas around that time. Finally, this one is another picture that I took in Sibyl, and it was also around Christmas time.